Hello and welcome to this video, which is an overview of the RPA in a Day workshop that we run on behalf of Microsoft and that you can run internally at your organization should you so wish. RPA in a Day is a bit of a misleading title. It actually covers a lot of things to do with the Power Automate platform. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Power Automate platform, what it is, what it's about, and then cover what we, with a particular focus on what we cover in the RPA in a Day workshop. And then at the end, I'll have some pricing and the next steps that you can take. So what is Power Automate? Power Automate has this vision. People should only have to focus on tasks where they can bring unique human value. So the Power Automate platform is all around automating repetitive tasks, automating work, adding more value to tasks, reducing the time it takes to do certain things, saving costs, and also eliminating errors from processes. So people should only have to focus on tasks where they can bring their unique human value, empathy, creativity, all of that good stuff. And just a little bit about where Microsoft is in the market. This is the Forrester Wave report from Q1 of 2021. It's a 25 criteria report, analyzes these products, and it's particularly to help enterprise architects select the right platform for their automation. And this is the end result of the report. This is the graph that is produced. It's a great report. I strongly recommend Googling it and reading it. But this is the end result. The size of the dot is the market presence. The strongest market offering is towards the top, and the strongest strategy is towards the right of the graph. UiPath is market leader. You can see the big ones there: Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, UiPath. Blue Prism's fallen quite behind in this one compared to last year. Microsoft is a new entrant in here. The dot is smaller than the others because it's on the ascendance, but it is taking off. A lot of companies are adopting this platform, and it is competing with the big traditional automation RPA players. And why is this? So you may have seen this screen before, this slide before from Microsoft. It's describing the Power Platform, of which Power Automate is part of. I'm not going to go into each of those things, but you may recognize them from other things. Power BI is a data analytics platform. Power Apps low-code development, Power Virtual Agencies, chatbots, and Power Automate sits alongside that family, but it is its own platform within itself. So let's dig into that a little bit of what Power Automate is. It has a foundation on these four things. It's cloud-based. It has strong security governance built in. It's built on Azure. It's got Azure AD integration, role-based access control, DLP built into it, all of that good stuff. There is a good white paper that I can link to in the comments. Pricing, it is very competitively priced, and it's transparent with its pricing. Most RPA vendors, they'll lead you down the path until they'll tell you the pricing, whereas Microsoft has it on their website, and it's pay for what you use. So if you only need two unattended bots, you only pay for two unattended bots, whereas a lot of the other vendors tend to package them in. So pricing is a very strong component of Power Automate. And then it's got a strong ecosystem, partners like ourselves, certifications online, training courses on that you can just do any time on Microsoft Learn. How this relates to the RPA in a Day workshop, all cloud-based. We'll create a trial tenant separate to your environment. We can even create Azure Labs, so you don't need to use any of your own machines. We'll use VMs connected to those as you're doing the workshop. Pricing, you'll see it at the end. It's because we don't have to do any of that on-prem stuff. The pricing is very competitive for a full day training session. So this foundation gives rise to these 5 features. These 5 features: digital process automation. This is called Cloud Flows inside Power Automate, and it's API to API integration. There are 450 connectors out of the box on Power Automate, so things like Dropbox, Drive, MailChimp, Xero, etc., etc., etc. All have connectors that you can just connect to. NetDocuments, for example. If the connector isn't there, you can create your own custom connector. You can also connect to on-premise APIs using secure gateways. And this is API to API. So this is the preferred way of automating because you're talking the language of the application. It's resilient, it's scalable, all that cool stuff, right? So that's part of the platform. And in our training course, we will use Cloud Flows to automate things like reading a mailbox, creating an approval in Teams, replying, sending an email, using the API to API Cloud Flow and decision trees and all of that kind of stuff as well. So that is part of the training. Then you've got robotic process automation. It's called desktop flows in Power Automate. Power Automate Desktop is how you author these desktop flows, and it's actually included free on Windows 10. Since February, since Ignite, it's now free on Windows 10. If you want an unattended bot to run on a VM and just pick up tasks and do them, do tasks on legacy applications, and that's around 4,000 per bot, called from the cloud. So it's called from the DPA platform. The RPA is called from there, using it, and there's a central administration tool as well. Now, in our training, we will write a desktop flow that automates a process on a legacy application. That is a legacy application that Microsoft has created that we will automate using Power Automate Desktop. And then we will call it from the cloud platform. The next component of Power Automate is artificial intelligence, and this is AI Builder. It's called AI Builder. There are pre-built models such as invoice processing. So you can send the model an invoice and it will send you back the metadata. There are similar ones for business cards, and there's one on the way for identification documents. There's also one for sentiment analysis. So these are pre-built, and there's other ones as well. And we'll cover all of these in the training. We will go through the different models. And then there's custom models, and we will train a model in our RPA in a day workshop. We will train a model to recognize documents and metadata from a document, and you'll see how easy it is to use. So AI Builder is part of the training too. Then you have this concept of capturing processes. How do you document accurately the steps in a process? Well, on the Power Automate platform, there's a product called Process Advisor. This allows you to collaborate on processes. So I can create a process and then I can share it with people in the organization, and they record their actions when they do the steps of that process. And then the platform then gathers all of those recordings together for analyzing centrally in one user interface. We do this in the labs. So we will have lab number 2 is we are recording a process and analyzing it centrally. So we cover capture in our process, in our course as well. And the final component of Power Automate is obviously part of the Power Platform, which gives access to things like virtual agents, to the Dataverse, Power BI, any Microsoft 365 products, SharePoint lists, Outlook, Word, Excel, tables, any of those things are accessible. So we will demonstrate that on the day as well. But we won't cover that too much, but it's just good to know that is there, and we will talk about it during the workshops. So that's an overview of the platform and an overview of the type of things we'll be covering in the training. Let's just dig in a little bit. If you actually want to know more about the platform, then you can. We've got a 1-hour demonstration of the platform recorded back in December. I'll post a link to that in the comments below, and go and watch that. It will give you. You can actually see these things in action. So yeah, I'll link that as well. But if you want to know how the day looks, so as I mentioned, this is robotic process automation, RPA in a day. We'll cover these things in the workshops. You'll have labs, hands-on labs for these, and this is the scenario that will follow on the day. It's around invoice processing. So there's a contractor who finishes a project and would like us to process the invoice. So she sends the invoice PDF via email. So we will watch a mailbox using digital process automation, and we will extract the PDF and extract the data from it using DPA. So we'll monitor the mailbox, and we'll use an AI Builder model that we'll train to extract the data from the PDF on the invoice. We'll then use DPA again to to send an approval request to somebody on Microsoft Teams that will appear in the approvals section. And then we'll use Power Automate Desktop to input that data from the PDF into a legacy application, a legacy invoice processing application that is provided by Microsoft. We'll use that in two ways. We'll capture the process using desktop mining, using Process Advisor. We'll record the steps and analyze that centrally. And we'll also automate it using Power Automate Desktop. So we'll do that on the day as well. And then we'll reply back to the contractor with an email to let her know the invoice has been approved and it's ready for payment and that kind of stuff. This is it looking at it in a different way. We'll use cloud flows, desktop flows. Now there is an element on the local computer, and that requires some prerequisite software. I will link down below to the prerequisites that are required for RPA in a day. You may need to give IT a heads up, or take our option of Azure Labs, where IT don't need to be involved. They just need to make sure you can access the Azure Lab, the RDP to that. That's the only thing they need to do. We'll take care of all the rest, all the prerequisites. So there's some on a desktop and the rest is cloud-based. I'm not going to go through this slide. I've just included it here so you can pause the video and look at the agenda if you so wish. But there is the agenda that we'll go through. As you can see, it covers more than RPA. It covers AI Builder, Process Advisor, Digital Process Automation, and of course, Power Automate Desktop, which is the RPA. So RPA in a day is a little bit misleading in terms of a title. So we host these every month for free, and they are on the last Thursday of every month until the end of the year, excluding December. We've got one of these running. Places are limited, and it's only one person per company can attend those workshops. You can have one person attend in July, another person in August, another person in September. That's fine, but in the sessions themselves, only one per company. That's because we want this to be with as many people as possible. There are options. We can do a workshop for you. So a one-day workshop, that's the price, and for that you get 9 AM to 5 PM workshop. We will set up and provision a complete trial environment in the cloud. We'll hold a prerequisites meeting with you and your IT team, or just your IT team, to go through the prerequisites of what each desktop needs. On the day, there'll be myself facilitating, and we'll have one technical assistant to support, and we can have up to 12 attendees. So that's the one-day workshop. If you want to add Azure, now I strongly recommend you take this option. This is Azure Labs Virtual Machine Desktop. So high-performance desktops in Azure Labs. You'll have access to them for 12 hours, which includes the full day, but then also some time, in fact longer, 16 hours, 20 hours will include. It's 20 hours of access, that includes the day, but also you can go on later in your own time. And we'll also have a walkthrough video of how you go in and just set up that VM. We'll put all the prerequisites in, but you'll need to sign in as your user that you're using on the day, and we'll have a walkthrough guide on that. And that will take no more than 30 minutes. So if you want to add that option, that's the fee there. And then finally, after you've learned the technology, we find that sometimes it's useful to have a facilitated workshop afterwards to brainstorm the ideas that have come out of the things that you could automate and potentially identify a proof of concept process. We can facilitate that workshop. We'll give you some guides and worksheets and a pre-workshop meeting to help get the ideas flowing, and then we'll facilitate the workshop. And at the end of the workshop, the end result is a priority matrix, which will have very clearly the processes that should be automated or should be considered for a proof of concept using Power Automate. Hope that's been useful to give you a understanding of what RPA in a day is about. It's more than RPA in a day. It's a full introduction to Power Automate Desktop. And hopefully I shall hear from you soon. If you want to contact me, my contact details are in the description below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.